So let's talk about that gap. You know the one. The huge space between the things you know you should be doing and, well, the things you actually end up doing. We're going to break down a really powerful method to finally get your brain on board with the hard stuff.
I mean, you know the feeling, right? That project is just sitting there. Your workout clothes are ready to go, the alarm goes off exactly when it's supposed to, and your brain just hits the snooze button on your ambition. It's just like, nope, not today. Let's try again tomorrow. It is one of the most frustrating feelings in the world because you know what to do. The problem isn't the knowledge, it's the action.
And here's the thing. There's a reason for this, and it's not some personal failing. It's literally how we're built. As Cal Newport points out in his book, Deep Work, our brains are hardwired to find the easiest path. They're basically comfort-seeking missiles. So yeah, we're going to choose the instant gratification of the couch over the long-term payoff of the gym because the hard thing feels, well, hard, even when we know it's good for us. But what if the answer isn't to just hustle harder or chug another energy drink? What if all that push through the pain stuff is missing the point? What if the real key is hidden in an ancient philosophy that teaches us not just to tolerate discomfort, but to actually use it? Well, that is the entire idea behind the Lotus method.
And to really get it, we're not starting with a productivity app. We're starting with a story.
Okay, so I want you to picture 12th century Japan. There's this young warrior monk, his name is Benkei, and he is just full of swagger. He's cocky, he's aggressive, and he thinks he's the best. So he decides he's going to challenge a legendary older samurai, fully expecting to win, and he gets absolutely destroyed. It's not even a close fight. It's over in seconds.
But here's where the story gets really interesting. It's about what Benkei does next. Instead of making excuses or blaming the weather or giving up, he just bows. He accepts the loss, and then he asks the old master to teach him. You see, for Benkei, that humiliating defeat wasn't the end. It was the beginning. He totally reframed what struggle meant to him.
And that incredible shift in perspective, well, that leads us directly to the core idea, the central metaphor for this entire method. Think about a lotus flower. It is one of the most beautiful flowers in the world, right? But it doesn't grow in some pristine, clean, crystal clear pond. No way. It only grows in the dark, murky, smelly mud. The mud isn't an obstacle to the lotus's growth. The mud is the requirement for its growth. The resistance is literally where all the strength comes from. And man, doesn't that just perfectly describe our modern problem? As author Michael Easter says, we've basically become comfort addicts. We've engineered almost every ounce of discomfort out of our lives. So what happens when we're forced to do something hard? We panic, we retreat. The lotus shows us there's an other way, to see that mud not as something to run away from, but as the very soil of opportunity. Okay, so that all sounds great, but how do we actually apply this idea? Well, the good news is the Lotus method breaks it all down into 4 very practical stages. We start our journey at the root and move all the way to the blossom. First, we have Nitai, which is all about endurance. Then we focus on Shisei, our posture and intention. After that comes Kensho, or realization. And finally, we reach Kaika, the blossoming. So let's dive in and break down what each of these really means. All right, stage 1, Nitasai. This is probably the biggest mindset shift of them all. It's about accepting that anything worthwhile is going to be met with resistance. That feeling of discomfort isn't a red flag telling you to stop. It's actually the starting line. It's a sign that you're moving in the right direction. For the old samurai, difficulty wasn't a surprise to be avoided. It was an expectation to be met. So here's the key idea. The next time you feel that heavy pull of procrastination, that desire to just do anything else, don't fight it, and definitely don't give in to it. Just acknowledge it. Say to yourself, okay, there's the mud. I'm supposed to be feeling this. And then just begin. Take one tiny step forward. That's it. You've just planted the seed. Next up is stage 2, Shisei. This is all about posture and intention. And it's based on a really powerful, proven link between your body and your mind. You see, how you physically hold yourself actually sends a direct signal to your brain about how ready you are to tackle something difficult. And this isn't just a think positive kind of thing. Research from people like social psychologist Amy Cuddy has shown that adopting a confident posture, which she calls a power pose, can genuinely change your brain chemistry, boosting confidence and lowering stress. So the action here is incredibly simple, but don't underestimate it. Before you start that task, just take 1 second. Sit up straight, Pull your shoulders back, take one deep breath. You are physically telling your brain, hey, we've got this. Okay, so as our Lotus starts pushing up through the mud, it starts to get glimpses of the light. This brings us to stage 3, Kensho, or self-realization. This is all about the simple but vital practice of stepping back and actually seeing how far you've come. It's not about ego, it's about giving your brain the proof it needs. You see, your brain kind of runs on evidence. If it doesn't see any proof that all this hard work is actually paying off, it's going to pull the plug on your motivation. It's just trying to be efficient. So you have to feed it proof. The action is to build a simple weekly reflection. Just ask yourself 2 questions. What obstacle did I overcome this week, and what did I learn from it? Acknowledging those small wins, that's the fuel. James Clear just nails it with this quote. It's so simple, but so true. Progress is literally the fuel for motivation. The Kensho stage is you, consciously and deliberately, filling up your own tank so you can keep going. And finally, after all that work, the lotus breaks through the surface of the water and blossoms. This is stage 4, Kaika. This is where the magic really happens. It's the point where that thing that used to be so hard, that thing that required so much discipline, now it just feels normal. It's not just something you do anymore. It's part of who you are. And this happens because of an amazing process in our brains called neuroplasticity. Your brain literally rewires itself based on your actions. What you repeatedly do, you become. So the action to get to this stage is simple consistency. Every single day, choose one meaningful thing that puts you in that mud, in that zone of discomfort. You're not punishing yourself, you are training yourself. So when you start to put all these pieces together, you realize this isn't just about getting more stuff done. It's a profound shift in who you become. Because the ultimate lesson here, the big takeaway from all of this, is that real growth, real greatness, it's not something you're just born with. It's cultivated, it's grown, it blossoms from that endurance, from that intention, from that reflection, and from that daily repetition. It blossoms from the very mud, the very resistance that we spend so much of our lives trying to avoid. So that really just leaves one final question for you to think about. What is that uncomfortable, difficult, murky mud in your own life right now? That thing you keep avoiding? Because that very thing might just be the soil where your greatest growth is waiting to happen.